On Father's Day, Leonard Hargrove received a medium-sized package delivered to his quiet suburban home in Willow Creek. The UPS driver wished him a cheerful, happy Father's Day as Leonard signed for it. No return address. The box felt strangely light. Inside the kitchen, his wife Evelyn noticed it first. "Leonard, don't open that." He frowned. "Why not?" She pointed, voice trembling. "Can't you see the holes? Breathing holes." Tiny, precise punctures dotted the cardboard. Something alive was inside. A faint rustle came from within, then a soft, unmistakable hiss. Evelyn's hand flew to her mouth. Leonard's stomach dropped. 10 minutes later, 2 police cruisers and an animal control van filled the driveway. If you're already feeling that chill down your spine, hit that like button right now and keep watching, because this only gets darker. The officer who entered, Marcus Delgado, took one look and radioed for a specialist. Within half an hour, the box was opened under controlled conditions. A 3-foot corn snake, healthy but clearly stressed, slid into a plastic tub. Non-venomous, the handler said, but someone had paid good money for it and shipped it with malice. Leonard already knew who. 6 days earlier, his only daughter, Marisol, and her husband, Trent, had stormed out of the house after a vicious argument about money. Leonard, 66, had finally refused to hand over another chunk of the retirement fund he and Evelyn had spent 43 years building. Marisol had thrown a coffee mug, screamed that he was a greedy miser, and vowed he would regret choosing money over family. Trent had smirked the entire time. Now a snake had arrived on Father's Day. Drop a comment right now. Would you have opened that box? Or would you have known the second you saw those breathing holes? I need to know where my brave people are. While officers took notes, Leonard's mind raced to a charge on last month's credit card statement. Reptile Palace, $127.50. He had assumed it was something harmless for the grandchildren. He had been wrong. Marcus asked the question Leonard dreaded. "Any idea who sent this, Mr. Hargrove?" Leonard hesitated, glanced at Evelyn, and muttered something about neighborhood kids. The officer's eyes said he didn't believe it, but he let it go. Family loyalty, even toxic loyalty, was something cops saw every day. After the snake was removed and the house cleared, Leonard stood alone in the living room wreckage. Coffee stains on the Persian rug, scattered inheritance papers, the overturned family photo on the mantel. He picked up the photograph. 5-year-old Marisol grinned from his shoulders at the county fair, gap-toothed and innocent. When had that child become the woman who mailed a live reptile to terrorize her own father? He dialed her number. "Dad," Marisol answered with syrupy brightness. "How's your Father's Day going?" "Interesting morning," Leonard said, keeping his voice level. "Tell me, sweetheart, did you send me a special gift?" A beat of silence. In the background, Trent laughed, a low, satisfied snicker that confirmed everything. "Just a mix-up with a delivery," Leonard said mildly, and ended the call before his composure cracked. That evening, behind the closed door of his study, Leonard opened the online banking portal. For 3 decades he had quietly paid Marisol's rent, her car insurance, her credit card bills, her gambling debts, her emergencies. He had sold his beloved 1965 Mustang to cover one particularly bad casino weekend. Every time he told himself this would be the last rescue, no more. With steady fingers, he removed Marisol as an authorized user on every card, canceled every automatic payment, changed every PIN. 30 years of enabling undone in 30 minutes of quiet clicks. When he pressed save, something cold and final settled in his chest. Control. Real control for the first time since his daughter learned that tears and threats opened his wallet. If you're loving this story so far, smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because the confrontation you're waiting for is coming in less than 2 minutes. The next morning, the storm arrived on schedule. At 8:15, the phone rang. "Dad, what have you done?" Marisol's voice was shrill with panic. "My card was declined at the grocery store. The car insurance bounced. Fix it right now." "I know about the snake, Marisol." Silence, then fury. "You're insane. You're setting me up." "I'm simply done paying for your choices." She switched tactics instantly. Victim, sob story, threats about the grandchildren. Leonard listened without flinching. When she called the snake one little prank, something inside him finally froze solid. The line went dead with her promise. "This isn't over." It wasn't? An hour later, tires squealed in the driveway. Marisol and Trent marched up the walk and pounded on the door. Leonard opened it, but did not step aside. "We need to talk," Marisol demanded. "We already did." Trent loomed behind her, shoulders squared like a bouncer. "You didn't think this through, old man. Kids need things. Bills need paying." "And parents need respect," Leonard answered, "something you forgot to include with the snake." Marisol's face twisted. "Fine. You'll never see Cora and Miles again. They'll grow up knowing their grandfather picked money over blood." Leonard looked at the stranger wearing his daughter's face and felt an odd, sad relief. "That's not a threat, Marisol. That's a blessing. If this is the example you set for them, maybe it's better they don't learn it from you." Trent took a menacing step forward. "We know where you live, where you walk the dog, when you leave the house." Leonard met his eyes. "Are you threatening me on my own porch?" "I'm saying accidents happen." "Then the next accident will happen in a courtroom. Get off my property." Marisol grabbed Trent's arm and dragged him back to the car. Tires spun gravel as they roared away. That night, Leonard and Evelyn sat at the kitchen table, chamomile tea for her, decaf for him. "She's still our daughter," Evelyn whispered. "She's someone who mailed a live snake to her father," Leonard replied. "I have one more thing to do." The next morning, he sat across from Margaret Whitcomb, their estate attorney of 15 years. Calmly, methodically, he told her everything: the decades of financial hemorrhage, the escalating manipulation, the snake, the porch threats. When he finished, Margaret removed her glasses and began writing. "Leonard, we are going to fix this permanently." By the end of the week, the new will was signed and notarized. Everything that would have gone to Marisol now flowed into an ironclad educational trust for 8-year-old Cora and 6-year-old Miles, managed by an independent trustee. College, private school if needed, books, tutoring, all covered. Marisol and Trent would never touch a penny. That same afternoon, Margaret filed for a restraining order citing harassment, intimidation, and the deliberate use of a live animal to terrorize. By Thursday, the papers were served. For the first time in decades, the Hargrove house was quiet. No frantic calls, no guilt-laden texts, no sudden emergencies requiring thousands of dollars wired before noon. Leonard and Evelyn took evening walks again. They grilled steaks on the patio without bracing for interruption. They slept through the night. 1 month later, a certified letter arrived from Marisol, returned unopened with "refused" stamped across it. Margaret had advised them. No contact, no exceptions. The restraining order was crystal clear. Leonard placed the unopened envelope in a file Margaret kept for documentation. Then he poured 2 cups of coffee, carried one to Evelyn on the porch swing, and watched the sunset paint their quiet streak gold. The little girl who once made burnt toast for Mother's Day was gone. In her place stood a woman who had chosen venom, literal and figurative, over family. Leonard mourned the child, but he did not regret protecting the life he and Evelyn had earned. Cora and Miles would go to college because their grandparents loved them enough to say no to their mother. And Leonard Hargrove, for the first time in 30 years, woke each morning knowing exactly whose choices would shape his day, his own. The box had been the last gift he ever accepted from his daughter. It turned out to be the one that finally set him free. If this story left you speechless, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you have done what Leonard did, or would you have kept paying forever? Tell me below. And if you want to hear the next story right now, tap the box on the left. I'll see you in the next one.